Welcome health-conscious viewers to Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. On our special episodes today and tomorrow entitled Discovering Dairy Alternatives, we are featuring Food for Life recipes from the Cancer Project, which is affiliated with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or PCRM. The Cancer Project promotes cancer prevention and survival through a better understanding of cancer causes, particularly the link between nutrition and cancer. Registered dietitian Stephanie Biney and chef Salua Tupulo will present low-fat, entirely vegan, and absolutely tasty dishes to enrich your health and lives with better food choices.
Today, we're going to start you on a new path of discovery with healthy alternatives to dairy that are also rich in cancer fighters.
Our white bean spread is a delicious substitute for cheese spread, but without the fat or dairy. We'll prepare a cream of broccoli soup, which gets its creamy texture from potatoes. Our calcium-rich main dish is penne pasta with kale, tomatoes, and olives. And we're not done yet. Our chocolate mousse will melt in your mouth and satisfy any sweet tooth craving.
So join us. We're turning on the flavors and cooking non-dairy on Food for Life. Chef Salua has already prepared our white bean spread. And this is a nice alternative to a cheese spread. You know, a typical cheese spread contains over 250 calories, almost 20 grams of fat, and no fiber in just a quarter cup. Whereas our white bean spread has only about 74 calories, half a gram of fat, and over 3 grams of fiber in the same amount. And the Great Northern beans add calcium to this dish. Another way you can add to this already nutritious dip or spread is to serve it with nice fresh vegetables. So Salua, how did you prepare this?
Well, what we did is we strained our white beans here, and we want to reserve the liquid that comes from our beans so we could use them for a later use in case we need to make it more velvety by adding the liquid to it. We have some lemon juice. We have some sun-dried tomatoes, some sage, some rosemary, and some fresh garlic. One thing you want to do with your sun-dried tomatoes is to make sure that you soak them for a little while. So you can use hot liquid if you're in a hurry, and if you're not so much in a rush, you could just use warm liquid. So make sure that you soak them first before you add these to our bean dip. Then the next thing I did is I just start putting our ingredients into our food processor or blender and just blend everything together. One thing you want to keep out though, let me say, is the sun-dried tomatoes. You just want to basically chop these up nicely, mince them nice and fine. And in the end, when you scrape out your bean dip from the food processor, you want to fold in those sun-dried tomatoes and just fold it in gently.
What happens when you blend the tomatoes?
Well, the sun-dried tomatoes, because they are red and because they have been soaked, when you blend it all together in the food processor or blender, along with these white beans, you'll have something that's sort of like pinkish, reddish in color, and it's too overpowering. So people eat with their eyes, and if it looks appetizing, they will say, this is good.
I think I'll have a red pepper.
I think I'll try the celery.
It's very flavorful. Chef, you better make a lot of this because it's going to be gone.
It is. It's really good. I just bit into a nice piece of that sun-dried tomatoes and the sweetness that it brings out, the balance that it adds to the lemon juice and to the nice savory flavor of the rosemary and the sage. Really excellent.
And the Great Northern beans, they blend up very creamy. Well, next we're going to prepare our dairy-free cream of broccoli soup. Our version of this soup is packed full of cancer fighters. Now, broccoli is a nutritional powerhouse. It's high in vitamin C, beta carotene, folate, it contains a lot of fiber, but what you may not realize is that it is very high in absorbable calcium.
Believe it or not, all we really need to make this dish creamy is 1 potato. We have already diced for us some potatoes here. Then we have some diced onions, some chopped fresh garlic, some garbanzo beans, a little thyme, marjoram, turmeric, and celery seed. Some vegetable stock that we're going to be using to add to our soup instead of water. Vegetable stock is something that's really easy to make by just saving the trimmings of your vegetables. You can store them in the freezer. When you're ready to make vegetable stock, just pull it out and add some water to it, boil it, and you have some freshly made vegetable stock.
Chef, that's a great trick to use potato to make it creamy. And is that the starch in it that helps it create a creamy texture?
And also the starch in it will also bind it together. But the garbanzo beans helps in that, giving it that velvety texture in our soup as well. One thing about dicing potatoes ahead of time is that you might want to make sure that you cover it with some water so it doesn't oxidize on you. So by covering it with some water, we'll keep the potatoes nice and white until you're ready to use it. So we're going to start this dish off by getting our pan heated up. We're going to start off with our onions, but instead of using oil, we're going to use vegetable stock. And this will really cut down on the fat in this dish. So we'll put our vegetable stock in there. You can also use water as well, but water has no flavor. So that's why I'm using our vegetable stock. And since it calls for vegetable stock in this particular dish, we might as well use it for sauteing as well. So we're going to add our onions to this. I love the way it sounds. You could hear it cooking.
Now
Pretty soon you start to smell the good fragrance coming out.
Now for this soup, are you going to try to get any color on your onions and your garlic, or are you going to keep it light?
Keep it light because we want it nice and creamy. We don't want heavy caramelization, but we just want to keep it light. We want the flavors, though, to develop as we're sauteing. So next we're going to add some garlic to this. And I think I need just a little bit more garlic here. So Stephanie, can you come over and stir this for me while I chop another piece of garlic? Okay. What I'm going to do here is take our bulb of garlic, and I'm going to remove it, and we're just going to smash it. Then we'll remove the fresh garlic out of the skin. And then we'll just mill the garlic. Milling is just moving your knife back and forth across the garlic and bringing it back together. And I think that'll do it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To this, we're going to be adding our diced potatoes. And then we're going to put in our garbanzo beans. We're going to add the thyme, our marjoram, our celery seed.
Could you substitute something else if you didn't have marjoram?
I think the closest thing I would like to substitute, probably some oregano.
Oregano, yeah,
that
that's
would
what I
probably
was
work.
thinking.
Yeah. So we'll add our turmeric now.
Great, and turmeric you see a lot in Indian food, and it's going to give this soup a really nice yellowish color, brighten it up.
And then we'll grind a few peppercorns in there. Give it a couple twists.
Would you like to take over?
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Okay. Yeah, it's smelling. You can smell the herbs in here. The sweetness of the onions is coming out. The pungent smells of the garlic.
And
that turmeric. Yeah, you can smell it.
Smell,
Yeah.
very savory.
It's just coming out. It's developing very well now. Okay, so we're going to add to this our vegetable stock. As I add this vegetable stock, will you chop up our broccoli so
Sure.
we can add some of that to this?
You know, it's great if you have time to make your vegetable stock from scratch, but today we are keeping it very simple and we are just using a store-bought variety that came in a carton. You can also buy it in a can at the grocery store. The one thing you want to keep in mind is if you're cooking with a store-bought vegetable stock, there's usually quite a bit of sodium added already, so you just need to not add as much when you're cooking.
Now I like to put a little broccoli into the soup to give it a nice, good texture here. But you want to reserve some to add to the soup later as a nice garnish. Stephanie, how's our broccoli coming?
I'm almost finished. There we are.
Okay, let's give it a taste and see where we're going with this. Oh, the flavors are just marrying well together. It's really tasty. And that vegetable stocks really gives it a real nice flavor to it. Okay, let's add our broccoli.
And how long does this need to cook now?
This takes about 25 to 30 minutes. And then what we're going to do is take it and put it in the food processor or a blender, and we'll just blend it up.
I'm going to ladle this soup and fill this Vitamix about halfway full.
Is there any particular reason why you just fill it up halfway?
Well, you always want to take caution when you're blending a very hot liquid. So I'm going to be very careful. You need to make sure the lid's on tight. We also recommend getting a towel and putting it over the top before you switch it on.
Look at that color.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
And it even looks very creamy. It looks like a traditional, cream of broccoli soup. You could serve this to your friends and family. They wouldn't know that it doesn't have dairy in it.
That's right. Let's just pour it right in this bowl here.
How's that?
That looks really good. And what we'll do here is we'll blend up the rest of the soup, and then we'll just put the soup back into the pot if you want to just keep it warm. But right when it comes out of the blender, it's ready to go. It's ready to serve. And there you go. Real delicious, real nutritious cream of broccoli soup.
Please come back tomorrow to join Chef Salua Topulo and registered dietitian Stephanie Biney from the Cancer Project as they show us how to make penne with kale, tomatoes and olives, and a chocolate mousse that can be transformed into a chocolate mousse pie. We'll see you soon on Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living, here on Supreme Master Television. Up next is Between Master and Disciples. May health and happiness be the constant companions in your life. For more information on the Cancer Project and Food for Life, please visit cancerproject.org, foodforlifetv.org, or call 001-202-244-5038 to learn more about how a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and beans can help you prevent cancer.
more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/VEG.